Good morning, everybody. I am so excited to join you in this December. I cannot believe it is already December. You can see I have up my tree. Someone said, "Is that your office? Or did you go someplace different?" Yep. This is my office. I'm that type of Christmas gal. It is my favorite time of year. And so I am really excited to revisit this particular um, live because it got rescheduled.
Always
So
different. Yep,
if you
yep.
tried
This is my
to,
office. I'm that type of.
if you tried to join this a couple of weeks ago, the software was not being friendly. The devil might have been a little bit busy, and so here I am again trying to, for the second time, introduce why we should all develop a keynote that converts. And so often, when I am partnering with women, they're like, I want the keynote stage. And what I want to suggest to you all today is every single time you take a stage, you should consider it a keynote. You should consider all the components of a keynote so that regardless if you're doing a training or workshop or if you are on the main stage, you have something that converts. Because if you are going on a stage to talk to someone, you need to be there with intention. If your intention is to book more business, great. If your intention is ability, do that as well. But to just take the stage without knowing why you're up there is not a recipe for success. So, good morning. If you are joining me live, please say something in the chat. I have got all the LinkedIn things open. And I want to start with how you do your introduction. And everything I talk about today is going to be directly correlated to the Sermon on the Mount. For those of you all who have not done that deep dive into the Sermon on the Mount, it's considered one of the most powerful speeches that Jesus gave, right? This is arguably the most profound blueprint that we have that we can study, copy, and learn from on how to develop a powerful message that resonates, that pulls the right audiences into our fold. Good morning, ladies. So glad that you are here today. And so today I'm going to outline the 9 things that Jesus did in the Sermon on the Mount that made it such a powerful speech. I'm going to dissect it part by part. So the first thing that Jesus did is he introduced a radical new concept. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. He radically set the tone for the speech. He did not say, "Good morning, my name is Jesus." Now, we've all gone and saw someone do that, right? Like we get prepared to see this amazing speaker, this amazing orator, and then they say, "Good morning, my name is Sybil Stewart." That is not the best way. When you have your audience engaged at the top of your speech, you want to suck out everything you can in that first 5 to 15 seconds. That means hitting them with your radical new concept, hitting them with a piece of information that they might not otherwise know, but for the fact that it came from you. And Jesus did exactly that. He did not say, "Hi, my name is Jesus." He was like, "Hey, here's what we are talking about today, and I'm going to start pulling you in instantly." So when you're thinking about developing your keynote, your next speech, how can you, with intention, say something meaningful to your audience that sets the tone, that gives them a perspective of where you're going to pull them in, and gives them a little bit of information about who you are? How can you establish a really good foundation for your keynote where it affirms what you're going to do instead of doing a standard intro? Like standard intros are great, but people are after experiences now. And I want for you to consider that intro, that first 5 to 15 seconds, your opportunity to hit them with your best hook or headline possible, and then have that set the stage for everything else that is to follow. I am so excited to see all of you all here as well. Thank you for joining. Right? So when we think about the Sermon on the Mount, what was his powerful new concept? His powerful new concept we call the Beatitudes, right? He's speaking very specifically to the audience in the room. That means he knows who his audience is, and he knows exactly what is happening, right? He's helping them reimagine what it means to be poor, what it means to be weak, what it means to be hungry, what it means to be thirsty. How can you help your audience reimagine from your lens, from your point of view, from the work that you do, what you need for them to start seeing and doing and experiencing because you are there? And this is not something they can get anyplace else but from you. The second thing that Jesus does, and I think a lot of people try to do this, but sometimes they may miss the mark, is he reminded his audience of who they are and humanized them. So often I have watched even big name speakers forget to humanize who's in the room. Your ability to humanize your audience means you have a full understanding of everything that they're going through. And so he very specifically says, like, here's who I am talking to. You want your audience to know that you are talking to them one-on-one, whether or not you're talking one-on-one or one to many. They need to know and understand that you know and understand them. Okay? This is your opportunity to say things like, I know what you might be going through. And then you list out 2 or 3 things. This is your opportunity to emphasize what their unique experience might be. So when I am talking to my Christian female founders, when I work with them one-on-one, because I am a Christian female founder, I can say, I know what it's like to balance bringing in secular audiences into your Christian business and what that balance feels like. Is that you? This is your opportunity to ask yes questions. At a minimum, as a keynoter, you should be asking anywhere from 7 to 9 yes questions throughout your speech. And it starts at the top and then it goes through to the very end. A mistake I see a lot of people make is they wait till the end to do a call to action, when really you should be building those yeses so that call to action at the end is just a seamless part of what you've been doing anyway, right? And so every time you say things like, right, that's a yes, yes, that is right. Or have you been there before? Yes, yes, I have. So when you are building out your keynote framework, literally write in your obvious yes questions and then fill them inside your storyline. Okay. Oh, I love it. She says Terry Saval Foy does that well. Thank you for that call out, Alicia. Yes, there are a lot of keynotes that you should study. If you're not studying your favorite keynoter, that you're missing the boat. If you don't know why you like your favorite people, then you need to think about why those are your favorite people. But because when I work with women and they're like, oh yeah, I like to hear everyone talk, I'm like, then you don't know what you sound like. If you like to hear everyone talk, then you're still trying to find your voice. But when you say, you know what, I like this person because, or I like this person and I want to sound like them, that's how you know you found someone that you can learn from. In this case, I was like, oh, I want to sound like Jesus. What did he do? What do I need to do? And so when you are humanizing your audience, this is your opportunity to help every single person to feel valued and necessary in that room. This is you giving them purpose. This is you exciting them about the future possibility of everything else you are going to say next. The third thing, so the first one is introduce your new concept. The second one is humanize your audience. The third thing is you tell people why you're really here. I have seen this time and time again. I made this rookie mistake. I get up on stage thinking that people read the billfold. Of course, they did not. You have to tell people why you are there, and you have to tell them what your mission is, whether it is, here's my mission, or here's what I work on. Now, I have done this already several times on this call. I have already introduced myself. Hey, I'm a Christian female founder. Here's who I work with, right? So I am speaking specifically about keynoting as a Christian female founder. I have not said my name is Sybil, right? But y'all know me. Hi, my name is Sybil. I help women rebrand and brand optimize, but I didn't lead with that. So this is your opportunity to say, here's my mission, here's why it matters, and here's why it matters for you. This is a really important thing to do after you humanize your audience, because you've already started to bring them into the fold. If I had started saying, here's what I do, that's a really hard sell. That's not what you want to do. What you want to do is help people say, hey, tell me why you're here. Here's why I think you're here. And then here's why I am here. I am a harpist. Thank you, Tinsley. And it is so great to see other harpists. I met another harpist as well here on LinkedIn also. So we are clearly in the audience. So excited to have you join this morning. So Jesus says, here's why I am here. Here is my mission. And here's how I am going to build credibility with you this morning. I'm going to honor your belief system, whatever it is, because the job of your keynote, y'all write this down, the job of your keynote is to help someone change their perspective, help them change their mind. It is not your job to solve all of their problems in 30 to 45 minutes. That is our egos talking, okay? Your job is to help them have one key point that's going to help them shift one key perspective that is going to make the biggest stride possible. And so when you are working through that, you want to think, what is my one key thing that I'm going to do for these people today to help them challenge where they are? Okay? I want to help them challenge where they are. I'm not here to fully disrupt your system, though I probably will, but here's why this thing might matter for you. So, right, this is the buy-in process. This is your pre-qualification. For those of us who love sales words, this is your pre-qual. Are you still getting those yeses from your audience when you start challenging the norms? And so Jesus very specifically says this in the Sermon on the Mount. He says, you have heard it said. Now, you might not use those words, but you might use a similar set of words. You've heard that your brand is your color and your logo. Well, I'm here to tell you that your brand is the imagery and the messaging and the memories that you leave behind. Like, that is my powerful thing that I believe in. I believe that your brand is an extension of your core values, and how you live through them is what people remember about your brand, right? So when you hear phrases like you have heard it said, or I tell you that, that is Jesus's way of challenging. He acknowledges what exists and then he starts challenging it, right? Exactly. Me too, Dr. Michelle. I am here to challenge your perspective. That's right. So when you start tackling the established norms that people have, what happens? Psychologically, if we don't challenge in the right way at the right time, people are going to shut down. This is your opportunity to have your white glove service for them. This is your opportunity to help them understand why this perspective change matters, right? Cognitive dissonance is going to start popping up the minute you do this. So it is so key that you build trust throughout this process. I know this is what you were taught. I know that, right? You're acknowledging their existing state and you're providing them one really good opportunity to change that state of mind because you are here. Okay? When you get up on that stage, how can you elevate the audience's perspective? How can you help them move beyond what they would call stuck? How can you make them more aware of what they think that problem is? Oh, I think the problem with my brand is I don't wear enough pink. And then I get to talking. Oh, really? The problem with your brand, from what I hear you say, is that you don't have a compelling elevator pitch, or you don't have your ideal client avatar put together, right? Making them deeper aware of the problem that they might be ignoring. And the best part is you've already solved that problem for you, which is why you're the expert. I say this every week. I'll say it again. Your 80% is someone else's 20%. Your hard fought battles are why people are going to lean in and talk to you. Your faux pas and your mistakes are why people are going to want to hear from you. So this is your opportunity to lean in and do exactly that. And Dr. Michelle just said it here, building trust is key to getting that buy-in. This is your buy-in opportunity, okay? So you're going to introduce your new concept. You're going to humanize your audience. That's going to help build trust. You're going to intro yourself in a way that fulfills your mission. And then you're going to start challenging their norms, okay? Doing this thing in order means maximum success. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to invite them to self-reflect. Okay? So often keynoters make the speech about themselves instead of their audience. What Jesus does really cleverly here, though, in the Sermon on the Mount, is he points to the unspoken emotions that people have because of their preconceived notions about a thing, right? I think being poor is a bad thing. I think being thirsty is horrible, right? Like he's pulling out those core emotions to help them understand that just because you're experiencing this emotion doesn't mean it's tied to this thing. It might be tied to something else. One recommendation that I give all of my keynoters that I partner with, or even women who have been doing this for a while, is I give them the emotional wheel. So if you all have ever heard of the emotional wheel, you can Google it. If not, DM me and I'll give you the emotional wheel. But when you're going through your keynote, ask yourself, what emotions do I need to start triggering in my people so that they know that I understand what they are going through? Now, this is not the same thing as re-triggering someone or intentionally harming, right? This is I identify with this emotion because I felt it as well. This is not me stabbing you with the emotional, knife because I want you to hurt so bad that you have no choice but to hire me. Please do not do that. That is not upstanding. That is not of God. Okay? Your opportunity to seek to understand their emotions and then talk about it is going to help them question where those emotions are coming from. For my salespeople, I know people say this all the time. I'm going to say the thing, right? People buy with their emotions and then they will justify it with the logic. This is your opportunity to deeply connect on that emotional level with the people in the room. Okay? They are going to continue to judge you based off of what you say. And if you can't figure out what emotion they are experiencing while you are talking because you have not inserted that as a part of your keynote recipe, your speech is not going to sell as well. It's going to fall apart. And then this is when people on stage feel that disconnect from their audience. Now, today is not the day that I am going to talk about improv. But if y'all want an improv conversation, type in the chat, Sybil, tell me how to improv. And I will do a session on how to improv with your keynote. But this is your opportunity to continue to pull the audience into your world and tug, not force, but tug at the emotions that they might be experiencing based off of what you need and want them to feel. So literally when I am helping women do their keynotes, we write their keynote out and then I force them to write each emotion that they think someone in the audience might feel. And if that emotional chart does not make sense, I make them do it over. The other thing that I will say is historically, and I'm so glad we don't do this to people anymore, the keynote recipe used to be that you take people on this really high and then you drop them on the floor. And while they're on the floor, you walk off the stage. Let's not do that anymore. That was not good. That was not leaving people with a good feeling. What you want to do is by the end of your keynote, you want to have them a slightly above neutral. You want them to have with a little euphoria, that perspective change, and then that question of how I can work with you next. Or, wow, this person was amazing. I want to learn more. All right. So once you have uncovered their hidden motives, what you will want to do next is start challenging their beliefs behind those emotions. Okay. You want to emphasize your authenticity, though I don't love that word, but you want to emphasize your authenticity and the actions that you are asking them to take. Hi, Kim. Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me? Am I back? Oh dear. Lost connection. Am I? Don't know why this thing. Hello, can y'all see me and hear me again? Good morning, good morning. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank y'all for letting me know. It literally cut off the same time for me as well. Um, and StreamYard for the win again. Thank you all for all the recommendations of streaming software. I'll be investing in some other versions by the new year. So yeah. And I'm back. New software options. Please pop those in the chat for me. My goodness. Someone told me restream. Someone told me restream. I'm gonna keep looking for some because my goodness, the connection just keeps dropping. Um, challenging beliefs. Okay, this is where you encourage your audience to start avoiding the things that they used to doing that hurt them. Like, hey, how about you don't do this? You start doing this thing over here. Help them to start thinking inward about how they're thinking about the things and do those outward displays of the perceived change you want them to see. This is your story arc, right? Like, this is your opportunity to say, like, hey, I used to be over here with you as well, but here's what life on the other side of this perspective change looks like, right? Oh, thank you, Dr. Michelle, because look, life be lifing. Life be lifing on these calls. And so on the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus emphasizes three things that he wants people to start doing: giving, praying, and fasting, right? And I want to suggest to you the same thing too. Our minds are inundated with a lot of information. Do no more than three. Give people three really good things, actionable things that they can start doing that only you would think of. Now, I will say during this call, the three actionable things, and I've been weaving them throughout, if y'all been paying attention. Number one, pull your emotional chart. Number two, write your keynote and then put your, thank you, Alicia, and then put your emotions next to them side by side. And number three, get your yes questions together. If you all do just those three things, you will see your keynote change drastically, right? I already started doing it, and you want to be able to do that same thing. So often I work with women and they think that the keynote is the thing. I spend more time in research, studying, and crafting my keynote than I ever do on stage. A 45-minute keynote takes me 10 to 15 hours to flush out, perfect, get to the place that I want it to do, and get it stage ready. And if you are not willing to invest that kind of time to perfect this part of your craft, this part of your business, the audience can tell. They will know that you are not there for them, you are there for you. And so this is the investment. It is coming to things like this morning and saying, you know what, I want to make sure that I deliver the best speech possible for my audience. All right. So in this moment, you want to challenge your belief. A belief that people have about keynoting is, I just get to walk up on stage, people are going to applaud for me, and then I get to leave. When in fact, your job, and I said this earlier, your job is to get up on that keynote, and when you get off stage, people are wanting to come and talk to you so that you can take your next stage. Okay? That is your assignment when you go and deliver your keynote. Number 7. This is your opportunity to help transform their mindset, right? So I've done your perspective shift, but here's where I'm smacking them with the no really, my big aha moment. Here's how you should behave. Why do you know how to behave? Because you're already doing it. I am telling y'all how to behave because I already know the kind of foolishness that I put on stage before I understood what it was to deliver a keynote. I remember when I gave my first keynote and I thought I knocked it out the park. People applauded. I thought people were saying yes to me, but really, I think they were just kind of like, oh, well, yeah, she's up here. We're going to do the polite nod. And then I got off the stage, and my coach then said, oh, yeah, people are going to come up to you. Y'all, nobody came up after me after that keynote. And I was like, but I was just on the keynote stage. Like, what is happening here? And then I went back through and studied all of the things that I missed. I went back and studied all of the things that were my opportunities for growth. And then the very next time I went on the keynote stage, I got 3 more speaking engagements from that one speech. And like I said, today is not the day for me to tell you how to build that 6-figure business from your keynote, but literally so often we focus on the keynote when really the business of the keynote is everything that happens after you get off that stage. I literally turned an $800 speaking engagement into a 5-figure contract because I did these things. This is the secret sauce. Okay? But my behavior had to shift. My perspective about why I was showing up on stage had to shift. My understanding of what my audience needed from me had to shift. I had to really dig deep into all the parts of me that were going to make me vulnerable so that I could speak from the soul, so that they could hear what they needed to hear from me. A recap gives lessons learned. Absolutely. I love a good recap. I sure do. And then 2 more things, because y'all know I love what the best speaker starting in on time. This means you. Jesus gives a final reminder, right? You reiterate your core principle and encourage people to see your point of view, right? So at the onset, you saw their point of view. Now it's your opportunity to really hone in. And here's my point of view. And my point of view is this, right? If you are going to have a powerful keynote, a powerful speech that converts, you really should have a recipe. The recipe that I am presenting to you all today is what I know works for me, is what has worked for so many of my clients, is why my women are on the TED stage, killing it, rocking it, knocking it out the park. And it is because I was able to help them use these core principles to make their messages make sense to their target audiences, right? This is your opportunity, your final reminder to reinforce all of the key components that you want for them to remember, because you've said a lot. People are going to remember the top of the thing, what you said, maybe a little bit of the muddy middle, and that final thing, right? And so if we are not careful with this part of the speech, we might have been pre-qualifying them up until this moment, and then we forget to remind them of why we are here in the first place. And they will forget and they will walk off, and then you will not be able to convert them. So this is your opportunity to reinforce everything, that foundation that you've laid, because again, your keynote is giving one key point, one perspective shift. And that perspective shift is based off the work that you do, off the mission that you are called to do, off that foundation that you have been building the entire time while you're talking. Okay? And then last but not least, number 9, Jesus gives a call to action. But really, he's been calling them to action the entire time. And I think we misunderstand the call to action because we think, and here's why you should buy from me. But the call to action should have been and has been happening the entire time. Literally this entire time, y'all, I'm giving y'all my secrets today. I have been calling y'all to action the entire time I've been talking. I have said things to you like, write this down. Don't forget this. Do you understand this? Those are actions I am helping you to take while I am talking. And this final call to action is just to urge you to continue to action after we part ways. Okay? Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Stay true to that. Understand the assignment, Dr. Michelle. Do you understand the assignment? Right? Here's the future that I can see you building. I can see each of you ladies building a 6-figure or more speaking component to your business. Thank you, Alicia. I can see that for you. Why can I see that for you? Because I saw it for myself. I see it for the clients that I work with every day. And people will tell you that it could take a year, 2 years, 3 years to build a six-figure speaking business. Whereas I am saying I was able to do that in a portion of the time with all of my mistakes because I understood what was at stake. And what was at stake was much larger than the things that I was concerned about. And so it didn't take me 6 months, 10 months, a year to get my first paid speaking engagement. It took me 76 days. And that was with me going it alone before I hired my coach, right? So imagine what you might be capable of with these tools. Imagine bringing in this extra revenue stream based off of stuff you're already doing, right? You don't need this extra tertiary thing that's going to take more work, right? This is about using the things that you are already doing in your business and leveraging them in new ways. And getting this last commitment from your audience is one of the first things that you can do. Thank you so much, Tinsley. So y'all, I'm looking both at the screen and my phone. Will there be a recap of the points? Yes, Tinsley, I always do a recap summary post. Thank you for asking. I always do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is when you are helping them put what you just told into action. This is your opportunity to produce your wisdom in the most powerful way, to help them understand that your firm foundation can be theirs as well. Okay? So I am going to do a quick recap now, and then I'm going to do a little bonus because I got a little extra time, and I appreciate everybody's time. So y'all bear with me like 5 more minutes, five more minutes, right? Recapping right now. And yes, I'm going to do my recap post as well. So first, you want to introduce your new concept. Second, you want to try and humanize your audience as quickly as possible. Third, introduce yourself. Let them know why you're here and why you are credible. Hi, my name is Sybil. I'm a rebrand brand optimization consultant for women who are of faith. Number 4, you want to challenge the norms around what people think is going on in these Christian businesses. Number 5, you want to help uncover the hidden motives and help them self-reflect. Amen, Dr. Michelle, your conclusion should make disciples. If you are not building brand ambassadors, that's what I call them, right? I help my women build brand ambassadors. If your speech is not building brand ambassadors, you need to come find me. Let's have a whole conversation. Say, Sybil, I need some help, right? Like, this is what you should be doing. Number 6, challenge their beliefs in a thoughtful way, right? Again, you do not want cognitive dissonance while you are talking. Number 7, perspective, how you should behave. Here's how you should be behaving. And here's why I know you should behave that way, because this thing worked for me. Number 8, give them that final reminder, right? Really put that stamp of approval on everything you've done. And then number 9, like I said, you already been doing call to actions, but this is your final push for after session action. After session action. If you all want to learn more about the work that I do with my clients, please send me a DM. If you want to learn more about this Keynote outline that I have been using here today, please DM me, Sybil. I want your Keynote one sheet. You got it, right? But here's the other thing that happens. And it's in Matthew 7, 13 through 29. Jesus does a call to action, but here's what happens afterward. And I think this is probably the most telling part, to know that people came up to Jesus afterward. It is because, and I'm pulling up my Bible, y'all. I thought I had my Bible, thought I was big Bible ready, but I'm not. So I'm gonna pull up my Bible right now, and I'm gonna turn to Matthew 7. And I'm going to scroll down. And it says right here, when Jesus had finished saying these things, the Bible notes the crowd's reaction. It says the crowds were amazed at his teachings. At the end of the day, your keynote is a teaching opportunity. We are all in the teaching business. I have been an educator now for 21 years. I started in public school classrooms. I taught at the middle school that I attended. I taught at the high school that I attended. I taught college. I'm a professor right now. And so, right, I might know a thing or two about teaching, but it says, when Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching. Why were they amazed? The Bible says it right here. He taught as one who had authority. He did something different. He taught with authority. Okay. It is not enough for you to get up there and know your stuff. You have to feel like you have the authority and own the space. We call it thought leadership in 2024. The other thing it says is, and not as the teachers of the law. That's how we know Jesus was saying something different, right? What you got here today, I don't think I heard anybody else say before me. So I am teaching with the authority of my understanding of what the scripture is saying. And I am teaching you stuff that I have not heard any other brand people talk about when they are specifically talking about how to build a powerful keynote. And so what you want to make sure of is that people feel the authority coming from you, that you are not timid on stage, that you are not apprehensive when delivering your thing, when you are forward leaning in, even virtually. Y'all have been seeing my hands. You are doing all of these things that show you have an open communication with your audience, right? Even virtually. That is how you know you have delivered a powerful keynote. That is how you know you will have a keynote that converts. Absolutely, absolutely. Effective information sharing is infectious, right? Like, my belief is that you all are going to go out and tell other people that you had an amazing morning today and they need to watch this recap. That is my belief. My belief is that somebody on this call today is going to use these 9 things and y'all going to message me and be like, Sybil, I just got a contract. That is my belief, right? Your conclusion should help people feel like they have a little bit of your authority in them. They should feel empowered to take action. Are y'all empowered to take action about your keynote? Are y'all empowered to go and write some new stuff and test out some new things based off of what you have learned here today? Whoops. Are y'all empowered to feel like I can go and rock that keynote stage and I can get the compensation I deserve? Speaking is a billion-dollar industry, a multi-billion-dollar industry. Women only make up about 30% of the paid speaking industry, and women and minorities make up only about 10 to 12% of that. I am on a mission to help as many women as possible get paid to speak based off of their mission, based off of the work that they are doing. There's no reason for us to not get our compensation as well, because we have done our work. It is time for us to receive that abundance and have that flourish as a part of our business without us feeling like we can't grow and scale and build, without somebody saying it's going to take a year or two for you to get paid, when I know that that's not a truth. That does not have to be the truth of anybody on this call today. Okay. Well, amen. Yes, I receive. Amen, Dr. Michelle. I appreciate y'all so much. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to pop them in the chat. Next week, I will be back same time, 8 a.m. Wednesday morning. Tell the other people, look for the recap next week. Is going to be fire again. I might have to do a part 2 because we did not get a chance to talk about body language. We didn't get to talk about improv. But if y'all have a topic you want me to talk about, definitely DM me and I will put that thing on the speaking roster. So I've got 2 more of these left, because the 4th Wednesday this year is Christmas and I'm taking Christmas Day off. I hope y'all are too. So I'm going to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to be here next Wednesday and then the following Wednesday. And then I'm going to see y'all in 2025. All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all have a blessed morning. And I really do hope that this served you at the highest level. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Have a fabulous day.